but I want to come out and apologise because I feel, it's appropriate to make that apology to the people who came to the press conference and the viewing audiences. I sincerely apologise, and I'll try and improve.
And just disgust and disgrace the room. I mean, it's disgusting and disgraceful what he's done. He should be embarrassed. I hope he is embarrassed, but it's not.
Everything started at that explosive press conference where John Fury crossed the line with serious threatening behavior towards Carl Froch. That chaos even led to a massive $100,000 legal situation. Now, despite the John Fury's apology, Carl Froch is making it crystal clear live. Sorry means nothing to him anymore.
That's a blow actually that sends you straight to jail usually. Should be getting arrested, should be getting done for assault. I don't know what's happening, but it's all being swept under the carpet and nobody's calling it out. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to call it out. John Fury is a disgrace. What he's doing is bringing boxing into disrepute. It's disgusting.
John Fury is, again, a showman. John Fury, he's got people talking, because when he was up there, he said what he had to say to get his attention, to get everybody's attention, and then he didn't need to do any more because that's what everybody's talking about. I think Carl is a straight shooter. So.
Carl Froch is not holding anything back as he goes straight at John Fury's past and calls him out publicly. He is making it clear that this is not just about one incident. This is about reputation. According to Carl Froch, John Fury has let himself, his family, and the entire sport down.
And thinking it's okay. Shouting on top of his voice, blood, guts and tears, this is what I do. I do this every day. This is what I live for. Blood and guts, this is what I live for. What are you talking about? I mean, you got banged up, didn't you, for gouging somebody's eye out years ago. You've not been in any trouble since then, which is good. Be peaceful, be nice, be kind. And then you go and lower the standards and let yourself and your family down, and more importantly, you let...
John Fury now tries to calm the storm with a public apology, but it feels a bit too late after everything that went down. Bringing up emotions and chaos does not erase those threats. And judging by Carl Froch's reaction, this apology was never going to fix anything.
Good morning, people. Just want to make a quick apology for my inappropriate language yesterday. It's unacceptable. I accept that. But emotions run high, we get involved, and it is the fight game. It was pandemonium. But let me sincerely apologise for my outburst of language. I wasn't alone doing it, but I want to come out and apologise because I feel, it's appropriate to make that apology to the people who came.
Now we move from words to facts, and this is where things get serious. Robert Smith confirms there was actual physical contact, not just shouting or hype. That completely backs up Carl Froch's anger because this crossed into real misconduct. The board stepping in and issuing a heavy fine shows this was not normal boxing drama. For Carl Froch, this validates everything he has been saying from the start.
Actually, so there will be an appeal taking place. So that fine could be reduced or it could be increased. It goes in front of a completely independent appeal steward.
Simon Jordan does not sugarcoat anything and completely backs the criticism aimed at John Fury. He highlights a history that cannot be ignored, reinforcing Carl Froch's point that this behavior is not new. This is exactly why Carl Froch refused to accept that apology. When multiple voices in boxing are calling it disgraceful, it becomes clear this is bigger than just one heated moment.
No, not really. It's thuggish behaviour. John Fury's, is boorish, thuggish, unedifying, unpalatable, uncouth, vulgar behaviour. Absolutely. But what do you expect from John Fury? John Fury's been in prison for gouging someone's eyes out. What did you expect him to do? Convert into a Samaritan? Is it a nice look? No. Was it a nice look over the years in boxing about so many things? This ridiculous sentimentalising of society and expecting everyone to behave in their best version of themselves.
Johnny Nelson brings a more calculated take, but the message is still clear. This was a costly mistake, and it could get even worse if repeated. That adds more weight to Carl Froch's stance because consequences are already stacking up. John Fury is no longer just creating noise, he is damaging himself financially and professionally, and Carl Froch is standing firm watching it unfold.
And if he does it again and he's over, he's going to get fined again. And I don't know if it's by the pound, by the ounce, what he's getting fined for, but it's an expensive
Duke McKenzie shifts the angle slightly, suggesting this could all be part of the usual chaos that surrounds Tyson Fury events. But even then, he clearly says Carl Froch should not be bothered at all. That says a lot. While others call it promotion, Carl Froch sees it as disrespect, and given what happened, his reaction feels far more justified.
Oh, who knows? They're great at self-promoting, aren't they? And, listen, you've heard it all before. You've seen it all before. When Tyson Fury fights, the whole circus comes to town, and everybody just jumps on board and says the first thing that comes into their head. So it is what it is. Like I said, I don't think Froch should be disappointed with that one bit. You're not, certainly. So is it good for the sport? They're promoting the fight. Simple as that. They're just promoting.
Now the ridicule starts to pile on, and John Fury is being turned into a joke rather than a serious figure. This kind of reaction only strengthens Carl Froch's position, because respect is clearly fading fast. When the narrative shifts from fear to mockery, it shows how badly things have spiraled for John Fury after that press conference incident.
Father of the king of the world. I think he's referring to Tyson Fury. When you have kids, most people, when they want to talk about their children, they might pull their mobile phone out and show a few pictures. Big John just shows you his balls. That's where they came from. If there's anyone who needs a Manscaped advert, it's fucking John Fury.
Even Frank Warren, a man who has seen everything in boxing, cannot defend what happened here. Calling it a disgrace says everything about how far this crossed the line. This is not rivalry. This is not hype. This is damaging the sport's image. Carl Froch's stance now looks even stronger because respected figures are backing his view. When promoters themselves admit it is not good for boxing, it completely shuts down the idea that this was harmless promotion.
We won't be any more of it, that's for sure, and everybody wants to show some respect to each other, and let's see the fight where it should happen, in the ring on Saturday night.
Eddie Hall absolutely unloads here, and you can feel the frustration boiling over. He is not buying into any of the theatrics, and calls it exactly how he sees it. This is where public perception really starts to turn, because it is no longer just Carl Froch calling John Fury out. Multiple voices are now questioning his behavior, his outbursts, and his credibility. That only strengthens Carl Froch's refusal to accept the apology because, from his point of view, this is a repeated pattern, not a one-off mistake.
He's just a fucking idiot. Plain and simple. Look, we've all seen the tantrums he's had. Headbutting walls and headbutting people and smashing Perspex glass and holding his balls and saying he's the king of the world and King Kong balls and whatever else. And I was just fed up of it, genuinely.
Johnny Nelson offers a more balanced take, but even he admits that John Fury lost control in that moment. Calling him emotional does not excuse what happened, it just explains it. The key point here is pressure. Now all eyes are on John Fury to prove he can behave, but the damage is already done. Carl Froch clearly does not believe in second chances in this situation, and given everything that unfolded, you can understand why he is standing firm.
The pressure is now on John to behave himself. He's distracted a lot of attention and talk, and I'm quite sure someone will have a word with Matt. The authorities will have a word with
Tyson Fury tries to spin it as hype, but even he admits something important without realizing it. He clearly says Carl Froch would wreck his dad, and that says everything about the actual boxing reality here. This is not a competitive situation, it is one-sided. Carl Froch is a proven elite fighter, and John Fury is way out of his depth. That is why Carl Froch is not interested in apologies or circus talk. He is focused on respect and accountability.
Both of them. They need to fucking have a better sense and show some professionalism in this game.
Johnny Nelson doubles down on what many are already thinking. If this ever became physical, Carl Froch would dominate without much trouble. But the bigger point is that Carl Froch does not need this fight. He has already proven himself at the highest level. That makes his rejection of John Fury's apology even more powerful. He is not chasing money or attention. He is protecting his legacy and refusing to entertain behavior he clearly sees as unacceptable.
But if Carl did do it, I think Carl would smash him. But I just don't think he will do it. Because he's got that memory, he's got that something about him, that he's at an age where he's still physically fit enough and strong enough if he commits himself to the preparation.
Duke McKenzie lays it out in a brutally honest way, and it completely backs Carl Froch's position. Carl Froch is a professional, a world-level fighter who earned his reputation through real fights, real opponents, and real stakes. He is not someone who is going to jump into meaningless chaos just for noise. That is the clear difference here. John Fury thrives in unpredictability and emotional outbursts, but Carl Froch operates with purpose. If there is no real fight, no real reward, and no real reason, then why should he entertain it? This is exactly why Carl Froch is rejecting the apology as well. For him, it is not about settling things like this in the streets or through drama. It is about standards. and John Fury has completely failed to meet them.
And then there's Froch, who's been paid to fight. He's used to getting money for knocking guys out. I'm sure if they put enough knocks in front of Carl Froch, in front of Carl Froch, then he might rise to it. But he ain't going to rise to it if there's no money on the table, if there's no end goal. If you want to punch up, you can go out in the street and have that any day of the week.
Eddie Hearn tries to balance things out by acknowledging both sides, but even he admits it went too far. Yes, controversy can build attention, but there is a line between promotion and complete chaos, and that line was clearly crossed. Carl Froch understands that better than most because he has been through real rivalries without losing control like this. While Eddie Hearn talks about increased attention, Carl Froch is focused on the damage done to the sport's image. That is why his reaction carries more weight. He is not impressed by numbers or hype. He is looking at the bigger picture, and from that perspective, John Fury's actions were reckless and completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's boxing, it's family. John's John. Both goading each other. Both very personal. Both means a lot to everybody. Shouldn't have done it.
This is where reality hits hard. Strip away all the noise, all the shouting, all the theatrics, and what you are left with is a huge mismatch. Carl Froch is a former elite-level fighter who still keeps himself in shape, while John Fury is a man in his 60s talking a big game. The Wade concept breaks it down clearly, and it completely aligns with what others have been hinting at. This is not a competitive fight, it is one-sided from the start. That makes John Fury's behavior look even worse because he is creating chaos without having the ability to back it up. Carl Froch knows this, and that is another reason why he refuses to take any of this seriously.
I love that John is just so confident in himself. He would gas inside of 2 rounds. 2 rounds, but if he even made it 2 rounds with Carl Froch, he would gas probably in the first round. He's 60 years old. I'm not saying he couldn't hobble about for 4 rounds or something, but he would be gassed inside of 2. Because the way that John runs...
This adds even more credibility to Carl Froch's side of the story. He is not just another name. He is a proven warrior with a serious pedigree. The fact that people in boxing still rate him this highly says everything about his presence and ability. Even outside the ring, he carries that aura of toughness and reliability. Compare that to John Fury's recent behavior, and the contrast becomes obvious. One represents discipline and achievement, while the other is leaning into chaos and controversy. That is why Carl Froch's words hit harder. He has earned the right to speak like this, and people are clearly listening.
Paul's a genuine, world champion level fighter, and he's actually bigger than you'd think, right, when you meet him. He's a lot younger than John, and his peak was outrageously good, right? And he's kept himself in shape. And even now, I remember having a chat with Eddie Hearn, about what fighter you've met is the toughest fighter. And he said to me, if I'm ever in a bit of bother, the man I want standing next to me at a pub or whatever is called...
Carl Froch closes in with absolute authority here, and you can feel the confidence in every word. He is not just rejecting the apology, he is completely dismissing John Fury as a serious threat. The way he calmly breaks down how easily he would handle him shows the gap in levels. But more importantly, he is refusing to give John Fury what he wants: attention, relevance, and a payday. That is the real power move. Carl Froch is making it clear that respect cannot be forced through noise or intimidation. It has to be earned, and in his eyes, John Fury has done the exact opposite.
John Fury's a big bully, and big bullies need putting into place. And if I'm the man that has to do it, I will do it. I don't want to beat an old man up. I don't want to start on a 60-year-old man. But when I look back, when I beat George Groves up in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, rendering him unconscious, he was 11 years younger than me. I'm only 10 years younger than Big John Fury. I know he doesn't look well, does he? He looks a bit older. I don't want to give him any stick, but he's 10 years older than me, 60-year-old man. I'm pressing on for 50. So, is it a fair fight?
This situation between Carl Froch and John Fury has now moved far beyond a simple press conference clash. What started as heated words and emotional outbursts has turned into legal consequences, public criticism, and a complete breakdown of respect between both sides. John Fury has already issued an apology, but Carl Froch has made his stance crystal clear that apologies do not erase what happened and do not rebuild trust once it is broken. The tension now sits in a very uncomfortable place because both men represent completely different mindsets in boxing. John Fury brings chaos, emotion, and unpredictability, while Carl Froch stands for discipline, legacy, and accountability. The real question now is whether this ends here or continues to escalate further. If John Fury tries to respond again, it could reopen everything and push this story back into the spotlight. But Carl Froch seems fully committed to moving forward without accepting any form of reconciliation. Fans are now divided, and the boxing world is watching closely to see if this rivalry fades away or turns into something even bigger. One thing is certain: this is no longer just entertainment. It has become a statement about respect in boxing and who truly stands by it and who does not. What do you think about Carl Froch refusing John Fury's apology? Do you agree with his decision, or should he have accepted it? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more boxing updates.